Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I'm your humble host, Willie Bragg. Had a little bit of technical difficulty just a few moments ago that I have corrected. My fault. I took care of it. I'm going to keep my promise. I said to y'all in the last few days, we're going to talk about Mouseland, story of Mouseland. Because this is a Canadian story that I think that the American people, especially the American left, needs to be well acquainted with for our own survival. Because we're not getting anywhere right now as the American left, and we could listen to someone like the late Tommy Douglas and what he had to say. And I think that if we could just swallow our pride and listen to what he had to say, we could get out of the rut we're in the United States, and we could be more like Canada instead of the United States of Mississippi that we are right now. So that's the situation we're in right now. So Tommy Douglas, tell you about him really quick, about the late Tommy Douglas. And the late Tommy Douglas was, he was basically, he was a Scottish-born Baptist minister that became, he was a Scottish-born Baptist minister that became the leader of the New Democratic Party of Canada. He started off in a political party called the Cooperative Commonwealth Federation, and in the 1930s was created as a socialist party to combat the Liberals and the Tories in Canada. In 1944, the CCF took over the provincial government of Saskachewan and became the first democratic socialist government elected in the Western Hemisphere. And they did a series of reforms that were similar to FDR's New Deal liberalism in the United States, but took it a step further. One could say it was like a combination of FDR's New Deal liberalism and Clement Attlee's British Labour Party reforms after World War II, but something in between. Medicare for all was enacted in the province of Saskatchewan. It was a successful model, and it kind of evolved into what was called the Canada Health Act of 1966, which made Canada a universal healthcare nation. And Canada has, healthcare for all. Even Jordan Peterson, who I'm not a fan of, when asked about the Canadian system, he says that we fare off better in Canada than the American experience when it comes to healthcare. So even the conservatives would tell you that Canada's better off for doing things the Canadian way instead of the failed market profit-driven motive that we've been used to here in the United States all these years. Insanity is repeating the same shit over and over, expecting a different result. That's the American healthcare system in a nutshell. You probably know who his son-in-law was in real life. That was the actor Donald Sutherland. You know the actor Donald Sutherland, yes, and you've seen his movies, you've seen many of his works. So his daughter was, and she died actually 2 years ago. I am not sure what the results of what they were, but his daughter was Shirley Douglas, and she was married briefly to Donald Sutherland. Now, you probably know, and doesn't she look like Susan Sarandon? It just occurred to me she looked like Susan Sarandon. She was a political activist in her own right, very active with the New Democratic Party of Canada for many years. And of course, you probably know very well this actor. TV show 24. And his name, of course, he played Jack Bauer. And we're talking about the actor Kiefer Sutherland. Very famous actor. He was the grandson of the late Tommy Douglas. And let's go and get Tommy Douglas's photo over here so y'all know who the hell we're talking about. All right. And that was the one person I forgot to program over here just a few minutes ago. So we're going to go and take care of that real quick. Let's see. Here we go. And here we go. Here was the late Tommy Douglas, the former Premier of Canada, of Saskachewan, a member of Parliament in Canada for the New Democratic Party, lived from 1902 to 1986. And Canada is a better place because of people like Tommy Douglas. Tommy Douglas, you could say, was the Eugene Debs, the Norman Thomas, the Michael Harrington, and dare I say, you can almost say he's the Bernie Sanders of Canada, all roll up into one. So what we're going to do, we're going to discuss Mouseland. So that's the meat and potatoes that we're going to discuss. So, and it's going to be introduced by no other than Kiefer Sutherland. And this is from the Douglas Colwell Foundation, which is the think tank for the New Democratic Party of Canada, Canada's Labour Party, Socialist Party, Labour Party, the political party I would belong to if I lived in Canada. So I hope you'll be able to enjoy. It's a short film. Do enjoy.
Hi, my name is Kiefer Sutherland. Many of you may know me as an actor, but there's something in my background that you may not know, something which I am very proud of. I am also a grandson of the late Tommy Douglas, a premier who brought an enormous change to Saskatchewan and the rest of Canada. He was also the first leader of the New Democratic Party. Using his voice in a recording that he had made in 1962, we'd like to share a story with you, a story that he made famous as early as 1940. It's a story of a place called Mouseland, and it's as important today as it was many years ago. It's not just a piece of history, it's really one of the best explanations you'll ever hear about why Canadians like you and me support the New Democrats. The NDP and the members of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union across Canada are proud to present this animated version of Mouseland. It's a message worth preserving for generations to come and for current generations. So please join me now as my grandfather takes us to a place that he called Mouseland.
It's the story of a place called Mouseland. Mouseland is a place where all the little mice lived and played, were born and died, and they lived much as you and I do. even had a parliament. Every 4 years they had an election. They used to walk to the polls and cast their ballot. Some of them even got a ride to the polls. Got a ride for the next 4 years afterwards, too. Just like you and me. And every time on election day, all the little mice used to go to the ballot box and they used to elect a government. A government made up of big, fat, black cats. Now, if you think it's strange that mice should elect a government made up of cats, you just look at the history of Canada for the last 90 years, and maybe you'll see that they weren't any stupider than we are. Now, I'm not saying anything against the cats. They were nice fellows. They conducted the government with dignity. They passed good laws. That is, laws that were good for cats. But the laws that were good for cats weren't very good for mice. One of the laws said that mouse holes had to be big enough so a cat could get his paw in. Another law said that mice could only travel at certain speeds so that a cat could get his breakfast without too much physical effort. All the laws were good laws for cats. But oh, they were hard on the mice. And life was getting harder and harder. And when the mice couldn't put up with it anymore, they decided something had to be done about it. So they went en masse to the polls. They voted the black cat out. They put in the white cat. The white cat had put up a terrific campaign. They said all that Mouseland needs is more vision. They said the trouble with Mouseland is those round mouse holes we've got. If you put us in, we'll establish square mouse holes. And they did. And the square mouse holes were twice as big as the round mouse holes. And now the cat could get both his paws in. And life was tougher than ever. And when they couldn't take that anymore, they voted the white cats out and put the black ones in again. Then they went back to the white cats, then to the black cats. They even tried half black cats and half white cats. And they called that coalition. They even got one government made up of cats with spots on them. They were cats that tried to make a noise like a mouse, but they ate like a cat. You see, my friends, the trouble wasn't with the color of the cat. The trouble was that they were cats. And because they were cats, they naturally looked after cats instead of mice. Presently, there came along one little mouse who had an idea. My friends, watch out for the little fellow with an idea. And he said to the other mice, look, fellas, why do we keep on electing a government made up of cats? Why don't we elect a government made up of mice? Oh, he said he's a Bolshevik. Lock him up. So they put him in jail. But I want to remind you that you can lock up a mouse or a man, but you can't lock up an idea.
As my grandfather would have wanted, the message of Mouseland is for all the people of Canada. We hope you have enjoyed this production, and we hope that it has left you with something to think about. Thanks to this short film, I think that Tommy Douglas's words have as much life and meaning today as when he first spoke them. Thank you very much for joining me.
Okay, that's the story of Mouseland, and that's a very important lesson for the American left. And actually, it does, and not necessarily even left, but the American working class. We may have divisions on social issues and cultural norms or what have you, but we all need health care. We all need a good paying job. We all need a generous retirement system. We need leisurely time. And these are things, these are basic things that other people in other countries in the West takes for granted. Even some third world countries enjoy these things. There's a saying, why can't we have nice things? And we can't have nice things because we're so fucking busy paying for extravagant weapon systems that we do not need, and billing out banks and billing out insurance companies and billing out corporations and propping them up all the time, and giving billions to another country like Ukraine, while we have a Ukrainian president telling our country to put journalists and military officers on a blacklist. Yes, we have President Vladimir Zelensky telling the U.S. government to put Glenn Greenwald and Tulsi Gabbard on a blacklist. And we're giving that motherfucker billions of dollars, 40 billions of dollars in aid, for example, and probably more to be given. And we can't get health care here in this country. We can't get, personal time off, guaranteed vacation time, free college, the things that are normal that we take, that people in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, even pre-war Ukraine, and even in Russia after the fall of the Soviet Union, they still had these things. We can't have these things here. We need to re-examine our priorities. And, the Democrats and the Republicans do not represent any of us. People vote Republicans because of the culture war issue, but the Republicans don't do a damn thing other than line up their own pockets. And the Democrats, they go and do the same thing, culture war on their own half, but also they don't do anything but line up their own pockets. They're both paid for by the same donors and the same, and they use these divisive issues to get us all clawing at each other. And I have argued that I'm tired of the red state, blue state debate. I'm in the Green Party these days. I'm not saying that that's what you should ultimately go for. If you want to go and create your own, if you want to go into the People's Party, go into the People's Party. You want to go into the Socialist Party USA, go into the Socialist Party USA. You want to go into the Green Party, go into the Green Party. You want to go into the Party for Liberation Socialism, go into Party for Liberation Socialism. You want to be a wobbly, go and be a wobbly. But do something to strengthen the workers' movement in this country is what you need to do. And that's what it's all about. And God forbid, even though we've been trying this same thing over and over, even if you think you can do it within the Democratic Party, try to hold those Democrats who are supposed to be our allies, try to hold those individual Democrats, try to hold their feet to the fire, keep them accountable. If that's what floats your boat, something that is broad, where everybody can kind of work together to bring these basic reforms. I've always argued that we need a Labor Party, and so like the little mouse, I'm in Mouseland. I've always said the left, the working class, the poor and the middle class, and Nina Turner's words, the barely middle class as well, need to get together. And in my words, we need our own independent Labor Party at the end of the day. Something to put a stop to the two-party dystopia that we live under. And even if this progressive economics doesn't quite excite you, if you're a conservative, you can't look at the status quo and think this is great, and even if you're prone to vote Republican, are they really looking out for you at the end of the day? So you go and vote for a third party. I don't care what it is. I mean, if you have an inclination toward an independence because neither party represents you, I think it's really stupid to vote for one of the two parties where neither of them represent your needs. Go ahead, take the time, vote for that third party to go and represent your needs. It's a hell of a lot better than to vote for the lesser evil and end up feeling like shit for the next 2 years. So that's basically it. And for me, I think that the little mouse in Tommy Douglas's Mouseland was absolutely correct. Just get your fellow mice together and form your own party. I know we got problems with ballot access, but it needs to be challenged. And honestly, neither party looks out for us. We need to look out for ourselves at the end of the day. And so that's what it comes down to. In the words of Tim Black, both parties suck. And he's correct. So anyway, if you like what you, oh yeah, we have on the chat line, Fireball Russ. Hello, how are you doing? And it looks like that's the only one on the chat line. Anybody wants to say hello? Anybody else say hello? And otherwise, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. Comment any way you disagree. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. And not just my channel, but any other channels that's independent media related. Support them as well because corporate news have absolutely nothing whatsoever to offer us, nothing whatsoever. So until next time, we will chat again, and I will conclude by saying music. Take it easy.
Thank you.